Hello, I'm Helen from Journal with Purpose and welcome to my latest YouTube video. Today I'm going to do some journaling in my junk journal. I've been really enjoying using this again recently, and our theme on Patreon during April has been pockets, tags and envelopes, so we've been playing around with lots of different ideas. So today I thought I might do some journaling on this page here. And I've picked out some prompt cards from my prompt card set. This is a digital printable available in my shop. So I've picked out 2 creative prompts and 1 writing prompt. So I'm going to focus on what are you most proud of in your life, using watercolour splashes and using a stencil. So they'll be the 3 elements that I try and bring into my journal today. I find these really helpful on days where I want to do something creative in my journal, but perhaps I'm feeling a little bit short on ideas. Just picking a couple of those out and then being able to use them to inspire my pages. The first thing I want to do with this is create some kind of writing space. My junk journal always has areas for writing in it. It's something that's really important to me. So I think I might start off with a little bit of coffee dyed paper, and I'm just going to tear that and use some Pritt Stick to glue it down. And this piece of paper that I'm working on here is just from a free garden magazine that came through my letterbox. I find they're really lovely for using in junk journals because you've got so many pretty patterns and colours already in there. And I like to still be able to leave some of the background so that you can see it, but just kind of have a play around with what you can see and what gets disguised. So I'm going to glue that down. It's getting really thick now, this journal. I've not got loads left before I will share a flip through, but I keep adding more tags and happy mail and things in here, so I then just have more and more pages to create. Okay, so just going to pop that down on there. So the next thing I'm starting to think about is adding something using a stencil. And at the moment the stenciling might not show up too well on that background. So I'm thinking I might add a little bit of white acrylic paint. So I've got some Amsterdam titanium white. I think I'm just going to apply that with my finger. One of the things I really like about junk journaling is it can just be really nice and quick and simple because you've got so much decorative detail already on that background. I feel like you don't need to spend quite as long as perhaps you do with some other journals. I mean, I love all sorts of journals, but it's just nice and quick and easy. So I'm just spreading this around so I've got a nice little background to add some stenciling. You could of course use a brush. I just thought it might be quite nice, almost pick up some of those finger marks and extra texture. And I'm going to do some the same along the bottom here. And I got some new stencils and stamps for my birthday at the weekend, and unfortunately, as my patrons will already know, I wasn't very well for my birthday at all, so now I'm feeling a little bit better. I'm really trying to make the most of that time to be able to start playing around with the new supplies that I got, so I'll get those out in a moment. Okay, well I feel I've got a nice kind of frame there to be able to work on and add a little bit of stenciling and watercolour splashes, so I'm just going to get that dried off. For my stenciling, I want to pick up a little bit of this pink detail from the background. So I'm going to use my Persian Rose acrylic paint. And these are a couple of the new stencils that I got for my birthday, both Tim Holtz. I thought it'd be nice to use this one around the top and the bottom just to add some little framing details there. And this is the stamp set that I bought. It's the Dina Wakley Ranger one. I absolutely love it. In my Patreon video, actually it's coming out on Friday, tomorrow, we're making some journal prompt cards, and I did actually use some of the stencils and the stamps on here. Just so much fun. I love getting new supplies. I find it really just helps boost my creativity, encourages me to start trying a few different things. So I'm just going to squeeze a little bit of this onto my painty plate. And I'm going to dab that with a makeup sponge. And I tend to dab off most of the paint so that hopefully it doesn't seep under the stencil. I find that stencils and stamps are always on my birthday wish list. I'm quite good actually at not spending too much money on new supplies throughout the year. I like to use what I've got, use recycled items, but it is rather exciting at birthdays when I can just top up some new supplies. There are some things throughout the year which catch my attention and I treat myself with, but I do try to be good at not spending too much. Okay, I really like how that's looking there. So I'm going to bring this down and do the same along the bottom here. I find junk journals are so versatile. You can do so many different things in them. I have plenty of vintage style pages, and then I love getting out my acrylic paints, doing something perhaps a bit more mixed media. There's so many fun choices, and I'll have this right next to these vintage style, and for me I have no problems with that at all. So I'm now going to get that dried off. So I've done my use a stencil prompt, and I think I'll now move on to watercolour splashes. My mum bought me a lovely new set of watercolour paints for my birthday. And I'm thinking I might go for this lemon yellow. I think that would be fun to have as the splashes. So I'm just going to cover up this page here and a little bit above my desk. And I also want to cover up the writing spot, but I think I'll probably just do that with my hand. So I'm just going to add a little bit of water to my yellow pan and then just start flicking that over the top of the acrylic paint stenciling. And they feel like nice, sunshiny, happy colours, which I feel I need a little bit after not having the best weekend. So just bringing a little bit of joy to my pages. I don't mind if a little bit of paint goes on that background, but I want to be able to write on there. So I'm trying to leave it fairly unsplashed. I think one last little bit down here, and that will do me. I just love that this has not taken very much time at all, just adding some fun elements, getting a few supplies out and getting nice and creative. So I've quickly dried off the watercolour, and I'm now going to focus on the writing prompt of what are you most proud of in your life. I'm going to start off by quickly just adding a little date stamp for my journal entry. And so I'm then going to focus on the things that I'm proud of. There's plenty that I get wrong, but I like to think there's some things that I get right as well. I really love trying to inspire people with their journaling, their creativity. I try and always be kind. So I'm hopeful that there's enough things that I can think of. So I'm just going to spend a few minutes writing on here. I'm using a black Muji gel pen. I just thought I'd add some little dashed lines around the outside, and then when I've added my journal writing, I'll decide if there's anything else that I want to put on this page. So I've now got my journal writing added, and I've written about the fact that I always try to be a good person, that I love being a mum to my daughter, and I've always tried my very best to support her and show her how loved she is. I'm committed to trying to help people get the most out of their journey and creative time. So it's just a really nice, uplifting spread, which I feel ties in with the lovely colours. I want to add a little quote, so I'm going to use my Tim Holtz sticker book. I thought it'd be nice to add a little bit of black for contrast. And I quite like that, go wherever your heart takes you. I think I might cut that one in half. Then I can have a little bit up here and another one down the bottom. So a really quick journaling session from me today, but I hope that helps if you've only got a little bit of time available, but you want to create something in your journals. You can still create something pretty and meaningful with not too much time. Well, as always, I want to say a massive thank you to everybody who's joined me over on Patreon. Well, thank you ever so much for watching. I hope you're doing really well, and I look forward to speaking with you really soon in my next video.